All right, so we're learning now. We're learning about the yechida of the soul. The yechida of the soul. The Jews are different from everybody else because the Jews have this level of the soul which is called yechida. What is this level of the soul called yechida? This is the essence of a Jew, always connected to the essence of God. Just like God is above any description or definition, he creates the highest worlds just like he creates the lowest worlds. And he creates them because he cares about them. He creates them from his will. It's not done accidentally. So God is in the highest worlds just like he is in the lowest world. But the essence of God is found only in the physical world. The essence. God created all these other worlds, levels, spiritual dimensions, levels of consciousness, heavens. All these are creations of God. God is creating them constantly. Time itself is a creation. So God is creating everything is unfolding constantly. And God is creating everything from his will. But it's absolutely nothing. The level of God's essence and his will and his intention is nothing like in the upper worlds as it is in this world. This world is the essence of where God is found, and especially this is done through the Jews, by the Jews, using the Torah properly. It makes this world into not just a good place or a holy place. It makes it into a pure godly place. It reveals the essence of God in this world. So that's, I guess that's you can call it holy, but in fact it's godly. It's the source of all the essence of God is found specifically in this world, and that's also the same thing in our soul. The level of the soul, which is called yechida, that's the level which is unique. Excuse me 1 second. Which is unique, totally unique to the Jewish people. And there's no comparison to it anyway, because it's not really a level. It's like, just like God cannot be defined, also this level cannot be defined. But on the other hand, that's the essence of everything. And that's what the Jewish people are here for, to reveal God's essence and their essence, which is really one, in the physical world. And now the Rebbe is explaining that only in the physical world can this be revealed. Only in the physical. And the lowest aspect of the physical. And that's why the Rebbe said, there's this very strange saying that says that God created the Yetzer Hara. He created the evil impulse. What do you want to call it? You call it the angel of death, the Satan, the devil. And he created the Torah in order to fix it up. Remember, that's what we learned last week. And the Rebbe said, isn't that a strange thing to say? I mean, God created the Torah in order to fix up the power of evil. That's what it says in Midrash, other places, that there's things that God created that he regrets that he created them. In the Torah, it's in the Gemara, there's theory that God creates and he regrets that he created them. And one of those things is the evil impulse. So God regrets that he created it, and the Torah, which is holy of holies, it's in the holy of holies in the holy temple. The Torah, God's will, God's wisdom. What's it got to do with the evil impulse? Exactly the opposite. The Torah should be put into the holy of holies, not into the defiled of the defiled. Says the Rebbe exactly the opposite. The whole purpose of the Torah is to come down and be revealed in the lowest aspects of the world. And in fact, only the Torah has the power to refine and to transform even the lowest aspects of the world. That's what he said before. This is just the end of what we learned last week. This is also what again, what we're learning, this is the writing of the Rebbe Rashab. I'm sorry. I'm talking about something else. I'm sorry. What we're learning, this is a speech of the Lubavitcher Rebbe that he gave in 1966. These two things are the Torah. I'm sorry. So this, how the Torah is united with God's essence, that's what it says. Misacheket lafanav. It says the Torah. It says it is a plaything. It gives God pleasure in front of him, schok and pleasure from above. This comes. Makes God pleased when the darkness is transformed. Is hapra chashuch l'naora. There is transformed darkness to light. That's what it means. Misacheket lafanav davka. The Torah reaches God's essence, and what gives God pleasure? When the Torah is used to make this world, fix this world up, transform darkness to light. And that's the pleasure of God. This is expressed in its innerness, like it is united with the inner essence of God. So therefore, that's these two aspects of God. On one hand, that it is God's essence, and the other hand, that it is expressed in the lowest physical world. Now the Rebbe is going to give us this final example. Listen to this. These two aspects of the Torah, namely, number one, that the Torah, Chassidut, the teachings of Chassidut, which that's this aspect of Yechida. Remember, we demonstrated that with the Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Sod of Modeh, and how Chassidut puts new spice, a new whole, totally new dimension in all these four aspects of the Torah, Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Sod. And we demonstrated that on Modeh. We finished doing this. And now the Rebbe talked about how the Torah comes and even fixes up the Yetzer Hara, the power of evil in the world. These two aspects of the Torah, that number one, that it permeates into all of the aspects of the world, which is called Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, and Chaya, until that it even affects the Nefesh Bahamit, the animal soul, and it affects the world. That's one thing, that it that Chassidut permeates the world, right? Like oil. We said it's likened to oil. And on one hand, it permeates the world. Other hand, bitui atzmuto, that the expression of God's essence, like oil, it floats above everything. This is only by means of it fixing the world. So on one hand, it has the power to fix up the world, but you might think it has the power. That's a side thing. But no, that's the essence of what the Torah is, the essence of what God is that He gives us, and that's what Chassidut does. Chassidut expresses that it has the power to fix up the evil, and that is where the essence is revealed. It's only when it fixes up the things that are hiding God, that's where the essence of God is revealed. And that's what Chassidut deals with. Right, these two features. Number one, that the Torah and godliness, Chassidut teaches that the Torah and godliness permeates all the aspects of the world, like we demonstrated with the Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Sod of Modeh. And number two, where do we see the essence of God expressed? Where is that? That's when it fixes up the world, the physical world, and fixes up our animal soul, our natural traits, and etc. Yesh dugmatam, there's something similar also in Nigla. Let's find an example of this in a law from the Talmud, how the highest is expressed in the lowest. Listen to this. Not only that, this is a halacha that will explain, this is a law in the Torah, which will explain everything we said before about Chassidut. What is this? What type of a law is this? Something we haven't talked about yet. Arba amot shaladam konot lo b'kol makom. The 4 amot of a person. Let's say an amma is like 1/2 feet, something like that, a little bit more. So if you take around the person, you make a circle around the person, and this circle is 4 Amos in the radius, 4 Amos, radius of 4 Amos. You stand in the middle. How does it work? A person lays down and sticks his hands above his head. That's called his 4 Amos. His 4 Amos. Now make this in all the directions. 4 Amos. Some say that this 4 Amos, the Rambam also brings, that this 4 Amos is like a square that's 4 by 4. A square that's 4 by 4, and you're in the middle. So if you make a square that's 4 by 4 and you're in the middle, so it's only 4 by 4 in the middle of that square, in the middle of each of the sides. But in the corners are farther away than 4 by 4. So some people say that this 4 by 4 of a person, it includes the corners also, so it comes out more than 4 by 4, Amos. But let's say just for our purposes that it's the 6 feet is around the person. You're more than 6 feet. Let's say you're 6 feet high, you put your arms out, that's another foot. So 7 feet around the person. 7 feet, you want to say 8 feet. Okay, whatever it is surrounding the person, that is called his domain. What does it mean, his domain? It's not his domain. You can't stand somewhere and sell the land all around you, right? Just stand in one place and sell the land. Say, this land belongs to me, or build a house over there. You can't do that. But on the other hand, if something falls within your 4 Amos, somebody throws something to you, and he wants to pay, right? Let's say he wants to pay for your car, and he throws this within the 4 Amos, even if you don't know about it, and he throws it within your 4 Amos, then it becomes yours. Then it's automatically yours. And if somebody steals it from there, then the person could say, listen, I gave it to you. What do you want? Okay, there's different aspects of this. But the fact of the matter is that anything that falls within your 4 Amos, of course, there are restrictions. If it's somebody's wallet, he loses his wallet and has his name on it, and it falls within your 4 Amos, doesn't mean that it's automatically yours. But if there is, let's say, an unclaimed object, and it falls within your 4 Amos, within your 6 feet, a radius around you, 6 feet, 7 feet around you, then it's yours, and nobody can take it from you. It takes possession of yours, right? Okay, there's restrictions, there's exceptions to the law, but nevertheless, that's the general law. And again, how do you measure the 6 Amos radius that's all around you, the circle that's around you? How do you measure it? By a person lays down and puts his hands above his head. Now, your hands are very interesting. Hands are very interesting. That your hands can go under your feet. If you want to, you can stand on your hands. Your hands can be lifted up in the air. So your hands are what you use to elevate the world. Take physical things and raise them up. So it says this is where your body and your hands, right? If you lay down with your hands above your head, that becomes a radius of a circle around you, right? So the circle then has a diameter. Let's say if when you lay down in your hands above your, let's say for our purposes, it's 6 feet. And so therefore, the circle has a diameter of 12 feet. And if you're standing in the middle, I mean 6 feet in every direction. Okay, good. Like I said, some people say it's a little more because it's a square, but nevertheless, that area is around you. That area around you, that's considered to be yours as far as taking possession of anything that falls in it. It says, when does this apply? If you're standing, of course, in a public domain, you're standing in the middle of a highway, the 4 Amos that's around you, it doesn't take possession. But if you're standing on the side of a public domain, or you're standing in a corner, someplace which is not public property. Legitin, for instance, gitin and kedushin, sometimes even in a public domain, according to many opinions. A man wants to marry a woman, and he throws a ring or money to her. A woman is married by giving her money. That's one of the ways of marrying a woman. He yells to her, "You are married to me, right? Let's get married." She says, "Okay, they're not married yet." He has to give her some money. He has to give her money, or he has to give her a deed, right? He has to give her a marriage document. So he throws it to her. And some people say that even if she's standing in a public domain, right, he's taking a train, he's going, he throws out the window, he says, will you marry me? She says, yes. And he throws her a coin, and this coin lands within her 4 amas, even if she doesn't pick it up. It's hers. They're married. And the same thing the other way around. God forbid a man wants to divorce his wife, and he says, we are divorced, and he throws her a divorce document, it lands within 4 amas, that's it, it's hers. They are officially divorced, even if she doesn't pick it up. And this is, the rabbis have made this decree. Why? In order to lo asi li'insui, so that people wouldn't come to fight. People wouldn't come to fight, right? There falls a golden, whatever is a golden something from heaven, a diamond falls from heaven, and it lands in your area. Some big strong guy comes and runs and grabs it. Too bad. If it fell into your area where you were the 6 feet around you, then it's yours, right? If it's a thing that's ownerless, then it's yours. There's no battle. There's no fighting here. There's no fighting. It's clear. He takes it away. Let him take it. You just take him to court. You have witnesses. It fell within your 6. That's it. You get it back. Okay, so here we have a very interesting thing. We're considering that a person's ability to possess, in other words, a person himself, his domain extends beyond his actual present body where he is, right? In the area where he could potentially pick up things, could lay down, he could. So physical things now belong to him. So in other words, what does it mean? It means that his essence, his power to possess, is now extends beyond where his actual body is, extends beyond him. Even though that this possession, he's possessing something which is in his 4 amos of a person are his, but in order that he should take possession, Kinyan HaChefetz, Hiknu lo chachamim es dalan amos atzmam. The rabbi said, what is the power? That how do we consider these 4 amas, let's say 6 feet, that surround him, right, in every direction? With what law can we say that this takes possession? I mean, the person didn't pick it up. So what's the same law as a chatzir? The law is that if I take, let's say, money, I want to pay you back, right? I owe you $100, and I throw money into your backyard, and your backyard has a fence around it. So that's considered to be like I gave it back to you. The money is yours. Or like we have the same thing, right? Diamond falls from heaven or something that falls down, and it falls into my backyard. Even if I'm not home, it's mine. So that's what the rabbi said. We're going to do the same thing with a person standing in a public domain, that the 4 amas which surround him to each direction, right? A circle of a radius of 4 amas all around him. This is like his backyard. Now it's only his backyard in order only to take possession of things that are outside of him. Like I say, you can't say it's my backyard, stand in the middle of a public domain and sell it to somebody because it's mine. No, only as far as taking possession of something outside of him. By means of this, because the rabbis made it into his yard, like his backyard, in regarding to this aspect of taking possession of separate foreign objects. By means of this, but Melo, automatically the rabbis have declared Konos lo at the Chefetz, he now owns this possession, this item, Hamunach Bahem, which are in these 4 amas, this surrounding radius around him, because it's called Kinyan Chatzir. It's as though his backyard bought it, took possession of it, a backyard. So this area around me is like my backyard. Therefore, a small child that he hasn't got the ability to take possession, so his 4 amas also don't take possession of it. A child. But this Mashahiknu Chachamim, that which the rabbis said, that your 4 amas, this 6 feet that surrounds you, it's only for taking possession of an item which happens to fall within this radius. But not as far as anything else goes. Okay, how does this demonstrate the thing of Yechida? Imi Yocha Kinyan, the Dalet Amos, even though that we say that this taking possession of your 4 amas around you, like the 6 feet, whatever, in every direction, this is considered to be like your backyard, right? It's taking ownership as though it was your backyard. Nevertheless, in some ways, it's even better than your backyard. Why? Shechatzer eino mishtameret, because a backyard that doesn't have a fence around it, even though it belongs to you, if it doesn't have a fence around it, begam she'omed bekiro v'chefetz ba'ofen she'ochelin tos osolitlo. And even if you're standing near this thing that's in your backyard, but there's no fence around it, eino kone ad she'omer zachli sada. You have to say, right, if somebody throws something into your backyard, and you can see it, it's in your backyard, and he says, here's the $1,000 that I owe you, and he throws it into your backyard, right? And somebody else comes and runs and takes it. Well, if that backyard does not have a fence around it, then that person has not stolen anything from you. He's saying, listen, the money fell down. It fell down. It's not. There's no owner. You have to say, if it fell into your backyard that doesn't have a fence around it, you have to say, my yard takes possession. You have to say those words. But ilu dalet amos. But if a person's 4 amos that we said before, even though there's no fence around it, nobody's watching it, nevertheless, if it falls within something falls within the 4 amos where you are, then you don't have to say my yard takes possession. In fact, something can take possession of a person even if he doesn't know about it. Right? A diamond falls from heaven or something, and it falls behind the person, and he's standing outside, and it falls behind, and he doesn't even know that the diamond is there. It's his. If it's within his 4 amas, it belongs to him. On the other hand, if that diamond falls in his backyard and there's no fence around it, and it's not within his 4 amas, it's just close, he's nearby, if he doesn't say the words, I want it, he has to, of course, be aware of it falling, and he has to say, it belongs to me, my yard possesses it. He has to say those words, then it takes possession. But if he doesn't say it, he doesn't take possession. But if he was standing within 4 amas, he does, even if he doesn't know it's there. Says the Rebbe, this doesn't make any sense. The cave and Shekala Kenyan, since the whole idea that you take possession of this diamond or this money or whatever, if it's within the radius of your 4 amas, is because it's like a backyard. So how could it be more powerful than a backyard? In a backyard, if there's no fence around the backyard, you have to say the words, my yard possesses. Zachta li sadai. But if you were standing within 4 amas, even if there's no fence around it, it automatically takes possession. How can that be stronger? How can the 4 amas be stronger than a backyard that doesn't have a fence around? The whole power of your 4 amas taking possession, because we compare it to a backyard. Now, of course, your backyard, for instance, you can sell your backyard to somebody. Your 4 amas that you're standing in the middle of a field or something, you can't sell that land because you're standing there. You can't stand there. So if so, the 4 amas in some ways are much worse than your backyard. They're not as much yours. But it only works as far as taking possession of something. So how can it be that the 4 amas in any way are stronger than the backyard when it comes to taking possession of something? If it's your backyard that has no fence, you have to say the words, my backyard takes possession. And within something that falls within your 4 amas, you don't even know it's there. It automatically takes possession, right? It's already there. So why is it so strong, this thing of your 4 Amos? Buren, an explanation is, Dalet Amos, in the 4 Amos of a person, there is found what's called his Yechida. Yechida. Therefore, it takes possession even if he doesn't say anything, and even if he doesn't know that it's there. In this level of Yechida, so therefore, what the rabbi said, that your 4 Amas take possession of you, takes possession for you. So if a ownerless diamond falls behind you, if you're standing, let's say, in a field, and an ownerless diamond or whatever falls behind you, and anyone that picks it up, it belongs to them. Well, if it falls behind you within your 4 Amas, within 6 feet of where you are, then anybody who picks it up is a thief. It's automatically yours, even if you don't know about it, even if you don't know it fell. Why is that? Because the person's Yechida spreads out to that area. Now you're going to ask a question, come on, what does Yechida have to do with your 4 Amos around you picking up a diamond? The point of the matter is, the whole essence of what your Yechida is to fix up and work with the world, to take possession of the world. That's why your soul is here, to correct the physical world. This idea that your Yechida spreads out in his 4 Amas, this is in order to take possession of an item. This possession of the physical thing, which is outside of you. The individual powers of a person's personality, what we said is nefesh, ruach, neshama, and chaya, namely the person's power of action, his emotions, his intellect, even his will. These are the 4 Amas of a person. They are not able to take possession of a thing. They don't reveal, the level of Yechida. Only shmiakochos boim leborer is a davar gashmi shebechutz l'adam. Only when a person decides to take possession of something outside of himself, then we say that this level of Yechida is revealed. Then is revealed this power of Yechida. So when is this yourself, your ability to take possession, where is it there? Where is it revealed? Only when it comes to fixing up, working with the world. Fixing up, working with the world, that's expressed itself, what's called in his 4 Amas, which is around him. That expresses this aspect of Yechida. That's why there's it's a really strange law if you think about it, right? It's a very strange law. If an ownerless thing, whatever it is, like we said, a diamond or whatever, if it falls within your 4 Amas, within this area around you, then because it's such an essential thing by a Jew to work with the world, work with things that are outside of you, so this automatically activates the aspect of Yechida, the essence of your soul. Because that's why we're here in the world, is in order to work with the physical world, and the physical world therefore activates the essence of our soul. So we see that the highest is revealed specifically in the lowest. According to this, now it'll be really understood. Yom Tak, it'll be, made sweet. Moshiach, that the preparation and the vessel for Asimar, for the coming of the Mashiach, is spreading out the teachings of Chassidut outward. That's what the Mashiach said to the Baal Shem Tov. When your teachings are spread out, then Mashiach will come. Why? What's it got to do with one or the other? Mashiach will come no matter what happens. Why do we have to learn Chassidut? It says because, in addition to the fact that since the revelation of Mashiach will be in everything in the world, even the non-Jews, it says, will ra'u kol basar, all flesh will see the essence of God. So therefore, the preparation and the vessel for this is spreading out the teachings of Chassidut, which talk about this yechida, this level of yechida, which is expressed only in the physical world. And it talks about how the highest essence of God is fixing up this physical world. And the non-Jews are an essential part of this physical world. Between Mahus, so therefore, just like a 4 Amos of a person are activated, that they're his, and only in regard to taking possession of foreign objects that fall there. So also, that's the whole essence of what Chassidut is. The essence of God is revealed by us fixing up the physical world. That's what Chassidut talks about. That's what Moshiach is going to bring about. The revelation of God in the lowest aspects of the world, in every aspect of the world. God's creating the whole business. The whole expression of what is the essence of Chassidut is only when they are spread out. Davka. If people sit and just learn these wonderful ideas, and they are wonderful ideas, that's not what Chassidut was made for. Chassidut was made for fixing up the physical world. Of course, you have to learn the ideas. But the question is, how do you act when you're in difficult situations? Instead of thinking about how to elevate things, you get angry, you get frustrated, you get depressed, you get jealous. Calls a man shenimtzeim a mayinot, all the time that these well springs, these precious secrets of Judaism are found inside. Their essence is not expressed. Mekivan says the hachana b'kli l'biyat Mashiach, because the preparation for the arrival of Mashiach is the essence of what Chassidut is. That's the whole purpose of Chassidut, Chabad. The teachings of Chabad are only one, to bring Mashiach into the lowest aspects of the world. And therefore, it's necessary to spread out these ideas outward. It has to be spread until you transform the outer side, the outside, things which seem to have nothing to do with Torah, nothing to do with Judaism, nothing to do with God. You transform the outermost regions, spiritual regions of the world to well springs. The well springs themselves should be out. That by means of this will be expressed the essence of what these well springs of Chassidut are. Namely, that the whole world knows and is longing for the revelation of the essence of God, that they know that there is such a thing. Maybe they don't know what it is, but they know that it does exist and that the world is missing it. Then Mashiach will come, when the world is ready. That's what the language of the Alter Rebbe said, the first Rebbe. As Yizdachach HaGashmis, the physical world will be refined. What he said in the Tanya, chapter Lamed Vav, he talks about the coming of Mashiach. Then the physical world will be refined, namely that the physical will still remain physical, but it'll be pure. Not, in other words, our bodies and the physical world. The light of Hashem, Ya'ir or Hashem Yisrael, that the light of God will shine to the Jewish people without any garment. And from this extra light which shines to the Jews, God will illuminate the darkness of the whole entire world. Right? The same thing in chapter 32, chapter 36, 37 of the Tanya. Like it says, Ro'u kol basar yachtav, all flesh will see that God is the one that's creating them. Kol yoshvei tevel artzecha. This is in the prayers of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, that the whole entire world, the whole entire globe, will all feel God. Tachlit hashlemot hazeh will be in the days of the Mashiach, Yamot HaMashiach, and the raising of the dead. And all of it depends on what we do now. It's something like, they had Columbus, whoever was, he went discovered America. I mean, America was there. He just had to discover it. He just had to, cross the sea, whatever he did. The same thing, we have to do things, but the revelation of God, it's already here. God is creating the whole world. But we have to really make it happen and prepare the world to be a vessel. But therefore, it all depends on all of our service, kol meshech zaman agalus, all the time of this exile. Ki gorim schar mitzvah, because what causes the reward for the commandments, namely the Moshiach, is the mitzvah itself. By us doing God's commandments now, then we will reveal the true source of the commandments, the commander. And that all depends on us learning Chassidut, understanding Chassidut, taking it to heart, and using it in our everyday life. Then there will be the Geula, Va'amiti, V'shlima, then there will be the true and complete redemption, the core of Mamash right now, Mamash. Ay, 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 Good. Okay, so what are we going to learn next week? Let's decide. Here we go. Let's decide what we will learn